It is springtime. It is beautiful out here. The trees are blossoming, the grass is turning greener, cars are driving by, things are blowing in the wind, etc. And it's time to plant outside the tomato plants that I started inside a few weeks ago. The problem is they're just these little stubby guys, and I'm not sure that they're ready to go outside next week after my last frost. So I may have to buy my plants from the store, which is not the worst thing in the world. I've done it before. I just like to plant my stuff from seed because I like certain varieties that maybe you can't get from the store. I like to know what's in them, what's on them, etc. And I just like what I like. Regardless, I'll still have a freshly grown tomato out of my own garden. And can we get dramatic for a second? You're not going to live forever. You've got, what, maybe 40, 50 seasons in a lifetime where you can grow your own tomatoes in your own garden. Don't let those seasons slip through your fingers. So we're going to go 3 places. We're going to go to a big box store, Home Depot. We're going to go to a local greenhouse/farm store. And we're going to go back in time to some tomato plants that I got mail order last year from a company called Plantables. They were grafted tomato plants, and we're just going to see what is the best you can do if you have to buy your plants rather than grow your own. If you're buying from Home Depot, your choices are simple. You get plants grown by Bonnie, which is owned by the Scott's Miracle-Gro Company. I've never had any complaints about the plants that I've gotten from Home Depot. In fact, any big box store around here, you get the same plants. Bonnie plants. That's really all there is to choose from. Walmart, Lowe's, any of the stores. I was impressed by the variety of tomatoes they had. They had your old standbys like Early Girl, which I strongly dislike because of its thick skin, small size, lots of seeds, as well as your Better Boy, which I dislike for the same reasons, but they had quite a range of cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, pear tomatoes, some of which I've never heard of before. They had some of my favorite varieties, like Celebrity, which I think is one of the best all-around tomatoes you can grow. They're great for canning, cooking, eating fresh, and just an all-around great tomato. They also had some other varieties that are a little more specialized that I love eating fresh, like a Cherokee Purple. The smallest plants they had were about $4 each, or $3 on sale. They had larger plants for almost $7, and then had giant plants for almost $17. For this price, I would only get a few plants. You might as well get one you've never tried before, but I want someone to try these super fantastics and tell me how they taste. Also the Mr. Stripey, that one sounds kind of neat. Overall, for a few plants, you can do pretty well at Home Depot. Now off to the local stores. The farm store had by far the least variety, which maybe should have been expected as they only have a small greenhouse. They had smaller tomatoes, but arguably better prices. You could get a 6-pack of plants for the same price as a single plant from Home Depot, with probably only about 1 to 2 weeks difference in age. They had your standard varieties like the Celebrity, along with some more interesting types like a Green Zebra, and if you look hard enough, you can even get a free one if you can find 2 growing in the same pot. As for the local greenhouse, their plants were surprisingly small, giving me hope for my tiny plants. They had quite a few varieties as well, but mostly stuck to the tried and true Celebrity, Roma, Moscow, and a few other variants of cherry tomatoes and smaller tomatoes. There were a couple that I'd never heard of before, but alas, you can't grow them all in a single year. What I liked best about the local greenhouse is it is local. The people running it have been there for years, they were eager to help and answer questions, and the people at Home Depot, and maybe even the farm store, don't really have the experience and knowledge that the people running the greenhouse do. I was truly surprised, however, at how small the plants were, maybe only a week old at the time of filming this. But again, they had much better prices than Home Depot. You could get 6 plants for $4. They weren't quite as big, but really probably only a couple weeks difference in age. If those couple weeks are going to make a difference, however, between you getting a fresh tomato by the time you have your first frost, I suggest you spend the extra money and get your stuff from Home Depot. I do think the greenhouse is my favorite so far. Interacting with friendly, knowledgeable, local people is always nice. Last year I got some plants in the mail from a company called Plantables. They were a grafted tomato plant, meaning they were the combination of 2 plants, one that's really good at fruiting and one that's really good at rooting. And they did amazing. They did fantastic. And the review might be biased because they did send them to me for free, but they really did produce an amazing amount of fruit. I got more cherry tomatoes off of a single cherry tomato plant than I've ever gotten off any plant that I've ever grown. They also sent me a beefsteak tomato plant. It did amazing. It grew very well in the same place where the year prior a different beefsteak tomato plant had failed. The problem is it was a beefsteak tomato. I don't really care for beefsteak tomatoes. They're just kind of meh. So I got a lot of them, but I didn't really think they were that good. We also got some Roma tomato plants, which produced quite prolifically. We got tons and tons of Roma tomatoes, which was great. Again, the problem was, and we don't know why this is, they just didn't taste as good as the tomatoes that we got from the local greenhouse or that we grew ourselves from seed. They outproduced them, but they weren't quite as good. Another drawback is there are only certain varieties available, so if you're looking for a specific type of tomato plant, you may or may not be able to find it in a grafted plant. Overall, however, they were fantastic plants. So what to do? In the biggest bait and switch clickbait in the history of YouTube, I'm just going to plant my little stubby guys. I'm not going to buy any. The greenhouse gave me hope. They gave me hope. If they can sell their little stubby guys and get tomatoes, so can I. I can plant mine and get tomatoes. I may get them a couple weeks later, but I will still get them. But if I were to buy them, I would buy them from the greenhouse. They have the best service, they have the most knowledge, and they're local. I like supporting local businesses. So whatever you do and wherever you get your plants this year, I hope you have the best of luck, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.